Have you ever found yourself dozing off in the middle of the afternoon, even after what seemed like a good night's sleep? Maybe you've caught yourself nodding off in your favorite chair or feeling an irresistible urge to take a nap right after lunch. For many people over 60, this isn't just an occasional habit, it's a daily routine. And while a short nap can sometimes feel refreshing, have you ever wondered if these frequent daytime naps are actually doing more harm than good? You see, as we age, our sleep patterns begin to change. What used to be a solid 8 hours of restful sleep might now be interrupted by midnight awakenings or restless turning. To make up for this, many older adults start taking longer naps during the day. At first glance, it seems harmless, just a way to recharge, right? But science is now revealing something different. Excessive daytime napping may be silently impacting your health in ways you never imagined. It's not just about feeling groggy or losing a bit of energy. Research shows that prolonged napping during the day can disrupt your body's natural rhythm, what scientists call the circadian rhythm. This is the internal clock that tells your body when to sleep, when to wake up, and even when to eat. When that rhythm is thrown off, it doesn't just affect your sleep. It can affect your heart, your brain, and even your mood. Imagine your body as a finely tuned instrument. Each part works in harmony, playing its role to keep you healthy and strong. But what happens when one part falls out of sync? That's exactly what occurs when daytime napping becomes excessive. Your heart doesn't rest the way it should, your brain doesn't store memories as efficiently, and your body feels sluggish and unbalanced. But here's the good news: with just a few simple adjustments, you can reclaim your energy, restore your sleep, and protect your health. Over the next few sections, we're going to explore the hidden dangers of daytime napping after 60, its surprising effects on your heart and brain, and the practical science-backed strategies that can help you sleep better at night without the need for those long midday naps. If you've been searching for ways to feel more energized, improve your health, and make the most of your golden years, then you're in the right place. Stay with me, because the journey to better sleep and a healthier life starts right here, right now. And in the next section, we're going to uncover how daytime napping is silently impacting your heart health. You might be surprised by what we find. Let me share with you a story about Margaret, a vibrant 67-year-old woman who had always been full of life. She loved gardening, playing with her grandchildren, and taking long walks in the park. But over the past few years, Margaret developed a habit, one that seemed innocent at first. Each afternoon, like clockwork, she would drift off into a deep sleep for nearly 2 hours. She always thought it was her way of catching up after a restless night. But as time went on, things began to change. Margaret started feeling more sluggish during the day, even after her long naps. Climbing stairs became a challenge, and she often found herself out of breath after short walks. During a routine checkup, her doctor noticed her blood pressure had spiked. It was the first warning sign, but it wouldn't be the last. What Margaret didn't realize was that her daytime napping was silently impacting her heart health. You see, when we nap for extended periods during the day, it disrupts what scientists call our circadian rhythm, the natural sleep-wake cycle that governs everything from our body temperature to our heart rate. Think of this rhythm as the body's internal clock, a finely tuned mechanism that tells your heart when to rest and when to work. When we sleep too much during the day, it sends mixed signals to that internal clock. The body gets confused. Is it time to rest or time to be awake? This confusion triggers irregularities in heart function. It's not just a theory, it's proven. In fact, studies from the American Heart Association show that excessive daytime napping is linked to a 25% increase in the risk of high blood pressure and heart disease. But why does this happen? The answer lies in how our heart responds to deep sleep. At night, during the deepest phases of sleep, your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your entire cardiovascular system gets a much-needed break. It's like putting your car in park. After a long drive, everything cools down, everything resets. But when you nap excessively during the day, it robs your body of that essential nighttime recovery. Now let's think about it for a moment. Imagine your heart as the engine of a car. If you keep that engine running, constantly starting and stopping throughout the day without proper breaks, it wears out faster. That's exactly what happens to your heart. Instead of getting that consistent, restful sleep at night, it has to work overtime during the day, pumping blood, regulating pressure, and managing your energy levels. Margaret didn't know that her long naps were causing her heart to work harder, but once her doctor explained the connection, she started making changes. Instead of a 2-hour nap every afternoon, she limited herself to just 20 minutes. She began walking in the mornings, soaking up the sunlight to reset her internal clock. And gradually her energy returned, her blood pressure stabilized, and those stairs became less of a challenge. The good news is that you can do the same. Short naps, about 15 to 20 minutes, can still give you that midday boost without confusing your body's natural rhythm. And if you're finding it hard to resist a longer nap, try breaking up your day with light activity or a walk outside. Not only does this help your heart, but it also reinforces your body's sense of daytime and nighttime, keeping everything in sync. And in the next section, we're going to explore how these long naps aren't just affecting your heart, they're also impacting your brain and memory. You won't believe how something so simple could make such a big difference. I want to tell you about George, a retired school teacher who spent his entire life shaping young minds. Even at 72, George still had that spark of curiosity and a love for learning. But there was one thing that puzzled him: his memory was slipping. He'd forget small things like where he left his glasses or the names of people he just met. His wife would remind him of their dinner plans, only for him to forget moments later. For George, this was deeply frustrating. Like many older adults, George had developed a habit of taking long naps during the day. Every afternoon after lunch, he would settle into his favorite recliner and drift off into a 2-hour sleep. He'd wake up feeling groggy, disoriented, and strangely more tired than before. At first, he thought it was normal, a way for his body to catch up on rest. But over time, the memory lapses became more frequent, and George began to worry. What George didn't realize is that those long naps were affecting not just his energy levels, but also his brain. You see, our brain operates on a delicate schedule and internal clock known as the circadian rhythm. This clock is what tells your brain when it's time to be alert and when it's time to rest. It also determines the quality of deep sleep, the stage of rest where your brain repairs itself, sorts memories, and clears out toxins. When you nap too long during the day, it disrupts this schedule. The brain, confused by the extra sleep, may not enter deep sleep as efficiently during the night. And deep sleep is crucial. It's when your brain acts like a cleaning crew, organizing memories, processing information, and removing waste products that build up throughout the day. When this process is interrupted or reduced, the effects are almost immediate. Memory becomes foggy, focus declines, and learning new information gets harder. Scientists have even found that prolonged daytime sleeping is linked to cognitive decline in older adults. A study published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia found that seniors who regularly napped for more than an hour during the day had a 40% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. Imagine your brain like a library. Every day you add new books, memories, thoughts, and experiences. But at night, your brain needs time to sort, organize, and place those books back on the shelves. If you're napping excessively during the day and not sleeping well at night, it's like the librarian never gets to work. Books are scattered everywhere, and it becomes harder and harder to find the information you need. That's exactly what was happening to George. His naps were throwing off his brain's natural rhythm, preventing him from entering the deep, restorative sleep that is so critical for memory and learning. But when he learned about this connection, he decided to make some changes. He started limiting his naps to just 20 minutes right after lunch, and he began reading or going for a light walk in the afternoons instead of curling up in his recliner. The transformation wasn't instant, but it was steady. Over time, George found himself forgetting less. He could recall names more easily, remember his appointments without double-checking, and even rediscovered his love for crossword puzzles, a hobby he had abandoned when his memory began to fade. His wife noticed the difference too. She often commented on how much sharper and more focused he seemed. The good news is you can do this too. A quick 15 to 20-minute nap early in the afternoon is enough to recharge your mind without disrupting your body's natural rhythm. And by staying mentally active, whether it's reading a book, doing a puzzle, or learning something new, you can keep your brain sharp and engaged. And in the next section, we're going to uncover why so many older adults find themselves napping during the day in the first place. You might be surprised at how common and avoidable these reasons actually are. Let me introduce you to Helen, a 74-year-old grandmother who has always been full of energy. She spent her younger years raising 3 children, working a full-time job, and still found time to volunteer at her local community center. But things began to change as she grew older. Her nights became restless. She'd wake up every few hours, tossing and turning. By the time the sun rose, Helen would feel drained and unrefreshed. Her solution, a long nap every afternoon. At first, it felt like the perfect remedy. Just 1 or 2 hours after lunch, she would settle into her favorite armchair, close her eyes, and drift off. But despite the naps, Helen continued to feel tired. Her energy levels didn't improve, and she found herself craving even longer naps as time went on. It wasn't until her daughter expressed concern that Helen began to wonder if something was wrong. The truth is, Helen isn't alone. In fact, many older adults find themselves napping during the day, not because they want to, but because they need to. But why is that? Why does aging seem to bring about this strong desire for daytime sleep? The answer is rooted in a few critical changes that happen as we grow older. One, decline in melatonin production. As we age, our bodies naturally produce less melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating our sleep-wake cycle. In our younger years, melatonin levels rise in the evening, signaling our body that it's time to sleep. But for older adults, this signal is weaker, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. Helen experienced this firsthand. She found herself waking up multiple times during the night without any clear reason. Those disturbances meant she wasn't getting the deep restorative sleep her body needed. To make up for it, her body craved rest during the day, leading to those long afternoon naps. But unfortunately, these naps further disrupted her nighttime sleep, creating a vicious cycle. 2. Reduced physical activity. Think back to when you were younger, busy days filled with work chores, family responsibilities, and perhaps even regular exercise. All that movement used up energy, making it easy to fall asleep at night. But as we age, our daily activities tend to slow down. Retirement, health limitations, or simply changes in lifestyle often mean less physical movement during the day. Helen used to walk everywhere, grocery shopping, visiting friends, even gardening. But now she found herself sitting more, watching TV, and relying on short strolls instead of long walks. Her body wasn't expending as much energy, which meant she didn't feel as naturally tired by bedtime. Instead, she found herself feeling restless at night and drowsy during the day. It's a common cycle. Less movement means less energy burned, which leads to less restful sleep. Then during the day, the body tries to catch up by napping further, throwing off the body's natural rhythm. 3. Chronic health conditions and medications. Many older adults like Helen also live with chronic health conditions that can impact sleep. Arthritis, pain, breathing difficulties, or conditions like sleep apnea can make it nearly impossible to sleep through the night. For Helen, her arthritis would flare up at night, making it hard to get comfortable. She would toss and turn, and by morning, she felt exhausted. Medications also play a role. Blood pressure medicine, heart medication, and even prescriptions for anxiety or depression often list drowsiness as a side effect. This can make it even harder to stay awake during the day, leading to unplanned naps. One of Helen's biggest challenges was her heart medication. Her doctor had warned her about possible drowsiness, but she never realized just how much it would affect her sleep. That constant grogginess led her straight to the couch each afternoon, seeking relief in a long nap. 4. Loneliness and boredom. Finally, there's an emotional side to this as well. Many older adults experience feelings of loneliness or boredom, especially if family members live far away or if friends are no longer as active. Without a busy schedule or social interactions, it's easy to turn to napping as a way to pass the time. For Helen, the quietness of the house was sometimes overwhelming. Her children had grown up and moved away, and her husband had passed years ago. The afternoons felt long and empty, and sleep became her escape. Sitting in her armchair with a soft blanket, she would drift off, not just because she was tired, but because there wasn't much else to do. Once Helen understood the reasons behind her daytime naps, she began to take small steps toward change. She started walking every morning, even if just around the block. She replaced her long naps with short 20-minute power naps instead, and she joined a local book club, giving her something to look forward to and filling her afternoons with meaningful connection. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but the progress was steady. Helen began sleeping longer at night, feeling more energized during the day, and most importantly, reconnecting with the activities she loved. And in the next section, we'll talk about how to adjust your sleep habits so you can finally break free from this cycle of daytime sleepiness. I'll share with you the practical science-backed strategies that can help you sleep better at night and feel more awake during the day. When Robert turned 70, he found himself struggling with energy levels that he once took for granted. A retired engineer, Robert had always been meticulous about his daily routines. But as he got older, his sleep patterns began to change. Nights became restless and mornings were marked by fatigue. By lunchtime, he would sink into his favorite recliner and sleep for hours, waking up groggy and unmotivated. At first, Robert accepted this as part of getting older. He thought that long naps during the day were just his body's way of catching up. But when he visited his doctor for a routine checkup, he was surprised to learn that his habit of daytime napping was contributing to his constant fatigue and was even impacting his heart health. His doctor explained that while short naps could be refreshing, long unplanned daytime sleep could disrupt his circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates our sleep and wake cycles. Determined to make a change, Robert began learning about simple strategies to adjust his sleep habits. Here's what he discovered and what helped him break the cycle of daytime napping and improve his nighttime rest. 1. Limit daytime naps. One of the first things Robert learned was that not all naps are created equal. Short naps lasting 15 to 20 minutes can provide a refreshing boost of energy. These are known as power naps, and they work wonders for recharging the mind without interfering with nighttime sleep. The key is timing. Napping for longer than 30 minutes pushes the body into deeper stages of sleep, making it harder to wake up and more likely to disrupt your body's internal clock. Moreover, napping too late in the afternoon after 3 p.m. can confuse your circadian rhythm, making it difficult to fall asleep at night. Robert started setting a timer for 20 minutes if he felt the need for a nap. He also made sure to nap right after lunch, not later in the afternoon. It wasn't easy at first. Those long naps had become a habit, but with consistency, his body began to adjust. He woke up feeling more alert, and his nighttime sleep slowly started to improve. 2. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule. One of the most important changes Robert made was setting a strict bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. He realized that his body needed predictability. Our brains thrive on routine. The more consistent your sleep schedule is, the easier it is for your body to know when it's time to wind down and when it's time to wake up. To make it easier, Robert started going to bed 15 minutes earlier each night, gradually moving his bedtime up until it aligned with a healthy sleep schedule. He also set his alarm for the same time every morning, even if he didn't have plans that day. The first few weeks were challenging. His body was used to napping during the day and staying up late, but soon he found himself naturally feeling sleepy at bedtime and waking up refreshed in the morning. 3. Stay active. During the day, Robert remembered how much energy he had when he was younger, when he used to work on projects, travel, and stay busy. So he made a commitment to move more. Research shows that even 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day can significantly improve sleep quality. Physical activity helps regulate the circadian rhythm, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. He started small, short walks around the neighborhood, light gardening, and stretching exercises in the morning. As his stamina grew, he added yoga classes and even a weekly swimming session. Not only did his sleep improve, but he found himself feeling more energetic during the day, reducing the urge to nap. If mobility is a concern, there are still ways to stay active. Chair exercises, light stretching, and even simple movements while sitting can make a difference. The important thing is to keep your body moving, allowing it to burn energy and prepare for restful sleep at night. 4. Create a calming evening routine. One of the biggest shifts for Robert came when he created a wind-down routine. He stopped watching TV late at night and avoided his smartphone an hour before bed. Instead, he read books, listened to soft jazz, and practiced deep breathing exercises. The reason is simple. Screens emit blue light, which interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. By turning off electronic devices and engaging in calming activities, Robert was able to fall asleep faster and enjoy deeper rest. He also adjusted his bedroom to be more sleep-friendly, dimmed the lights an hour before bed, kept the room cool at around 65 degrees for 18 degrees, the optimal temperature for sleep, used blackout curtains to eliminate external light, added a white noise machine to block out distractions. These changes transformed his sleep environment into a peaceful retreat, setting the stage for restful, uninterrupted sleep. 5. Watch what you eat and drink. Robert also found that his evening habits were affecting his sleep more than he realized. Heavy meals, sugary snacks, and caffeinated drinks were making it harder for him to fall asleep. He began adjusting his dinner portions, opting for lighter meals and avoiding caffeine after 2 p.m. Additionally, Robert discovered that certain foods can actually promote better sleep. Foods like bananas, almonds, and oatmeal contain natural compounds that help increase melatonin production. A small bowl of oatmeal with sliced bananas became his go-to evening snack. To prevent waking up frequently during the night, he also cut back on water intake after 7 p.m. This simple change helped him sleep through the night without needing to get up. 6. Seek support. If needed, Robert knew that sometimes making changes alone can be challenging. He spoke with his doctor, who suggested monitoring his sleep patterns and adjusting his medications if necessary. He also joined a local senior walking club where he met others who were working to improve their sleep. The journey wasn't always easy, but the results were undeniable. Robert now wakes up each morning with energy and clarity he thought he had lost forever. His daytime naps are short and refreshing, and his nights are restful and deep. And in the next section, we're going to look at how improving your sleep habits doesn't just make you feel better, it can actually transform your life. You'll be amazed at the benefits that come from breaking free of excessive daytime napping. Let's discover them together. Meet Susan, a 68-year-old grandmother who always took pride in her ability to stay active and engaged. She loved her morning walks, her weekly knitting club, and spending time with her grandchildren. But as she got older, sleep became elusive. Nights were long and restless. She would wake up multiple times, glance at the clock, and feel frustration wash over her as the hours ticked by. By the time morning came, she felt drained before the day even began. Susan tried everything she could think of: warm milk, reading before bed, even sleeping pills, but nothing seemed to work. That was until she discovered a few simple science-backed changes that transformed her nights. Let's walk through the steps that helped Susan reclaim her sleep and wake up feeling refreshed. 1. Create a cozy sleep environment. The first change Susan made was to transform her bedroom into a sanctuary for sleep. Science shows that the environment where you sleep plays a significant role in sleep quality. The room should be cool, dark, and quiet conditions that signal the brain that it's time to rest. Susan started with her bed. She invested in a comfortable mattress and supportive pillows that helped relieve the pressure on her back and joints. She also added blackout curtains to her bedroom windows, blocking out the streetlights that used to leak in during the night. To keep things quiet, she began using a white noise machine that softly played the sound of rain, calming and constant. This helped mask the creaks of the house and occasional noises from outside. She also adjusted the temperature, keeping her room at 65 degrees or 18 degrees, the optimal temperature for deep sleep. According to the National Sleep Foundation, cooler temperatures help maintain deep restorative sleep. And soon enough, Susan noticed the difference. Her nights were calmer and her sleep felt deeper and more restful. 2. Establish a calming bedtime routine. One of the most powerful shifts for Susan was creating a wind-down routine, a series of calming activities that helped signal her brain that it was time to sleep. Her evening routine started an hour before bed. She would turn off the TV, put away her phone, and switch off her tablet. Research has shown that the blue light emitted from screens interferes with melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep. Instead, she replaced screen time with gentle activities, reading a lighthearted novel to ease her mind, listening to soft jazz music that soothed her nerves, practicing deep breathing exercises, a simple inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. At first, it felt unusual to step away from her evening TV shows, but as the days went by, she began looking forward to that quiet time. Her mind settled faster, and falling asleep became natural rather than a struggle. 3. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Susan also made the commitment to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. She learned that consistency is crucial for maintaining her body's circadian rhythm. When you go to sleep and wake up at different times, it's like constantly switching time zones. Your body doesn't know when it's supposed to rest. To get started, Susan set an alarm not just for waking up, but also for bedtime. Each night at 9:30 p.m., her alarm would gently remind her that it was time to wind down. And in the morning, she woke up at 6:30 a.m., even if she felt like sleeping in. The routine became natural, and within weeks, she found herself feeling tired and ready for sleep right on schedule. 4. Avoid heavy meals and caffeine in the evening. One of the biggest changes Susan made was adjusting her evening eating habits. She used to enjoy a big dinner, followed by dessert, sometimes even a cup of coffee if she felt like it. But she didn't realize how much this was affecting her sleep. Research shows that heavy meals and caffeine too close to bedtime can disrupt sleep by causing indigestion and restlessness. Caffeine in particular can stay in your system for up to 6 hours, making it harder for your body to relax. Susan decided to have her last meal 3 hours before bedtime. She chose lighter options, a small salad, some grilled vegetables, or a bowl of soup. She also switched her evening coffee for a cup of chamomile tea known for its natural calming effects. The results were almost immediate. Her stomach felt lighter and she found it easier to drift off to sleep without tossing and turning. 5. Get moving. During the day, one of the most surprising things Susan discovered was the power of movement. She always thought that relaxing more would help her sleep better, but it turned out that staying active during the day was the key. Studies have shown that just 30 minutes of moderate exercise can improve sleep quality and help people fall asleep faster. Susan began by taking short walks around her neighborhood every morning. She also joined a senior yoga class twice a week, which helped her stretch and relax her muscles. The difference was remarkable. Not only did she sleep better, but she also felt more energized during the day. Her naps became shorter and less frequent, and she began waking up feeling refreshed. 6. Limit liquid intake before bed. One simple but powerful tip Susan learned was to reduce her water intake before bedtime. For years, she would drink a full glass of water right before bed, only to find herself waking up once or twice to use the bathroom. Now she drinks water throughout the day to stay hydrated, but reduces her intake after 7 p.m. This small change helped her sleep through the night uninterrupted. It may seem minor, but not having to get up at 2 a.m. made a significant difference in her sleep quality. 7. Seek support if needed. There were still some nights when sleep was elusive. On those days, Susan reached out for help. She spoke with her doctor, who suggested tracking her sleep and adjusting her medications if necessary. She also found comfort in joining a local senior group where they shared tips and supported each other in improving sleep. Just like Susan, you too can make small adjustments to transform your sleep. It's about finding what works best for you and making it part of your routine. And in the next section, we're going to explore the real life-changing benefits you can experience when you finally break the cycle of daytime napping. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens when you take back control of your sleep. Let me introduce you to Frank, a 73-year-old retired firefighter. For decades, Frank lived by a strict routine, waking up before dawn, staying active throughout the day, and sleeping soundly at night. But after retiring, his days grew quieter, and long afternoon naps quickly became part of his daily schedule. At first, they felt harmless, a way to fill the time and recharge. But over time, Frank began noticing changes. His nights became restless, he struggled to stay asleep, and his energy levels dipped lower than ever before. His family noticed it too. Frank, who had once been energetic and lively, now seemed sluggish and less enthusiastic. Simple tasks like mowing the lawn or playing with his grandkids left him winded. His daughter grew concerned and suggested he see a doctor. During his visit, Frank's doctor explained that his long naps were likely disrupting his circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock. This imbalance was not only affecting his sleep, but also his heart health, memory, and overall vitality. Determined to make a change, Frank decided to adjust his habits, reducing his naps and focusing on nighttime sleep instead. The transformation was nothing short of remarkable. Let's walk through the 4 key benefits Frank experienced and how they can transform your life too. 1. Improved heart health. When Frank first started his journey to better sleep, he was skeptical. Could reducing his daytime naps really make a difference? But the results spoke for themselves. Within weeks of cutting back his 2-hour afternoon naps to just 20 minutes, his blood pressure stabilized and his energy levels began to climb. Here's why. When you nap for too long, your body's circadian rhythm, the natural clock that regulates your sleep-wake cycle, gets disrupted. This confusion signals your heart to work harder during the day and at night. Studies have shown that long naps of over an hour are linked to a 25% increase in risk for heart disease. On the other hand, reducing naps and focusing on nighttime rest allows the heart to recuperate, properly lowering blood pressure and reducing stress on the cardiovascular system. For Frank, the change was eye-opening. His doctor even mentioned that his heart rate had improved and he felt stronger during his daily walks. It was as if his body was finally getting the chance to rest, repair, and rejuvenate the way it was meant to enhance memory and cognitive function. Another surprising benefit Frank experienced was sharper memory. Before adjusting his sleep habits, he often found himself forgetting small things, where he left his car keys, the names of new acquaintances, or even the time of his next doctor's appointment. He used to joke that it was just old age, but the truth was his long daytime naps were affecting his brain's ability to store and recall information. Here's how it works. Your brain consolidates memories during deep sleep at night. This is when your brain organizes and files away information from your day. But when you nap too long during the day, it disrupts your brain's ability to enter deep sleep at night. It's like trying to organize a library while people are constantly pulling books off the shelves. You can't keep things in order. After cutting back his naps, Frank noticed that he could remember things more clearly. His conversations flowed more naturally, and he even found himself recalling names and events more easily. He began enjoying crossword puzzles again, a hobby he had abandoned when his memory began to slip. 3. Increased energy and physical vitality. One of the biggest transformations Frank experienced was a newfound sense of energy. Before, his afternoons were marked by fatigue, and he would often sit idly, feeling drained. But as he reduced his naps and focused on better sleep at night, his body responded with more vitality. He began going for longer walks, spending more time outdoors, and even taking up gardening, something he hadn't done in years. The science behind this is simple. Quality sleep at night is when your body repairs cells, restores energy, and strengthens your immune system. When you disrupt that cycle with long daytime naps, your body misses out on that critical restoration. Frank's family saw the difference too. His grandchildren loved that he could play catch with them again, and his neighbors often commented on how much more active he seemed. For Frank, it wasn't just about feeling better, it was about living better. 4. Better mood and emotional stability. Lastly, Frank noticed a profound shift in his mood. Before, he would often feel irritable and sluggish after waking up from his afternoon naps. His wife even mentioned that he seemed more withdrawn. But after adjusting his sleep habits, his mood brightened. He was more patient, more cheerful, and more eager to engage with family and friends. Here's why sleep is directly linked to the regulation of emotions. When you nap excessively, it disrupts the natural sleep-wake cycle, leading to imbalances in mood-regulating hormones. Poor sleep has been linked to increased anxiety and irritability, while restful sleep promotes calmness and emotional stability. Frank found himself laughing more, reconnecting with old friends, and even joining a community volunteer group. He said it was like waking up to a new version of himself, one that was happier, healthier, and more engaged with life. If you find yourself napping excessively during the day, know that you can make a change just like Frank did. Here are a few steps to help you get started. 1. Limit naps to 20 minutes and try to nap earlier in the day. 2. Create a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. 3. Get more sunlight. Natural light helps regulate your body's internal clock. 4. Stay active. Even light exercise can make a big difference. 5. Create a calming bedtime routine to help your mind and body wind down. And in the next section, we're going to explore exactly how you can take these changes and turn them into lasting habits that transform your health. You'll discover simple step-by-step methods to break the cycle of daytime napping and reclaim the energy you deserve. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. As we reach the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored. We began with the simple idea that daytime napping, while seemingly harmless, can disrupt your body's natural rhythm. We saw how those long afternoon naps can affect not only your heart health, but also your memory, your energy, and your overall quality of life. You heard about Frank, who transformed his life by simply adjusting his nap schedule, and about Susan, who reclaimed her nights by creating a calming bedtime routine. These stories aren't just isolated examples, they're proof that real change is possible at any age. Now imagine waking up in the morning feeling truly rested. No more grogginess, no more sluggish afternoons, just pure natural energy to enjoy the day. Picture yourself spending time with your grandchildren, going for long walks, or picking up hobbies you thought you left behind. All of that starts with reclaiming your sleep. The good news is, it's never too late to take back control of your sleep habits. No matter how long you've been napping during the day, simple adjustments can lead to profound changes. Start small, limit your naps to just 20 minutes. Create a calming bedtime routine that lets your body unwind. Stay active during the day to naturally tire your body out. Set a consistent bedtime and wake-up time even on weekends. These small changes add up. Just like Frank and Susan, you'll begin to notice the difference not just in how you sleep, but in how you live. Your health, your choice. Sakku Trong Ban. One of the most powerful things about change is that it starts with a choice. Right now, you have the choice to make your health a priority. You can choose to break the cycle of daytime napping, choose to sleep better at night, and choose to wake up each morning with energy and purpose. I know change can be challenging. It's not always easy to break habits that have been part of your routine for years. But as you've seen today, it is absolutely possible. All it takes is the first step. If this video has inspired you, I encourage you to join our community of people who are committed to living healthier, more energized lives. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's a small action, but it helps us continue bringing you insights and tips that make a real difference. Also hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We're on this journey together, and I want you to be with us every step of the way. And finally, if you've ever struggled with daytime napping or restless nights, share your story in the comments. Your experiences can inspire others, and together we can support each other to live our best, healthiest lives. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a fresh start, a day filled with energy, sharpness, and the freedom to live fully without fatigue holding you back. That new chapter starts with one decision to prioritize your sleep. I believe you can do it, and I'll be here every step of the way to guide you. Because a well-rested life isn't just about sleeping better, it's about living better. And in the next video, I'll be sharing the secrets to waking up energized and staying sharp all day. No more groggy mornings, just pure vitality. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Your best years are still ahead.